Op jouw afbeelding naar 3 puntjes.
Hi Joris. Ja, als je zeg maar op mijn ja, bij mijn hoofd zeg maar zouden 3 puntjes moeten staan. Volgens mij aan de zijkant kan je mij. Oh, perfect. Ja, ik heb het nu. Thank you.
Je hoort mij ook goed?
Ja, ik hoor je helemaal top.
Mooi. Even kijken, ik ben net aan het voorbereiden. Oh, ze zitten op verschillende locaties ook, zie ik.
Ja, dus sommige zijn van Project Change en van Liberian Youth. Hey guys, ik ga even een kleine introductie geven hoor. Hey guys, we're gonna start in about 3 minutes now. So please make sure that everyone has their seat and just get comfortable for the session. Today's session is gonna be by Joris and he's gonna talk about money management. And he's gonna share his screen in a little bit. So yeah, just make sure that you're all seated. Joris, ook om even voor jou door te geven. Soms dan met internet gaat het heel lastig. Dus soms zie je sommigen wegvallen en dan komen ze weer terug. Dus dat is soms heel lastig voor hun. Maar ze hebben ook de slides gewoon toegestuurd en uitgeprint. En als ze dan nog vragen hebben, dan sturen we die gewoon naar jouw e-mail.
Ja, helemaal goed. Oh. Hallo. Hier nog even een kleine... Hallo. Even kijken. Dan gaan we er weer vandoor. Ja. Je hoort me nog steeds?
Even kijken, niet heel hard. Misschien kan je ietsje dichter bij de mic. Ik weet niet of het...
Even kijken, dan ga ik even naar mijn instellingen.
Ja, nu hoor ik je echt heel goed.
Oké. Ja, zo hoor je me goed dus.
Ja, we zien je alleen niet. dat is het enige.
En hoe komt dat?
Beneden bij video? En bij dat cameraatje, dan moet je op... ja, nu zie ik jou. Helemaal top. Ja, dus wanneer jij klaar bent.
Ja. Well, good evening to you all. My name is Joris van der Loo. And I'm really happy to host tonight's session. Thank you for the opportunity, Inaba. And today we're talking about money management. Oh, my daughter is wants some attention. And let me start by introducing myself. As I told you, my name is Joris van der Loo, 47 years old. I have a master's in agricultural economics at the Wageningen University. And today I hope I'll share my knowledge about money management. And we're going over a few topics, a short country comparison, Liberia to the Netherlands. Then I'll guide you through value and wealth. What are the definitions actually? Then we're going over income and expenses, financial mindfulness, bookkeeping, financial future, budgeting, and stocks. And at the end, there's a fun part, investing yourself, your business, but most of all, a quiz we're going to play. So, well, I'm happy to see you all. And let's start the session. The theme of tonight is how to value and grow your wealth. What you see here is hands full of money. And what is value and what is wealth actually? Is that a hand full of money? Or can it also be, this is the introduction. Just a second. Well, Liberia and the Netherlands are two very different countries, actually. But there's also a lot of things the same, as in how much the country earns comparative to the debt the countries have, and the expenditure they do on, for example, education, as you see in this slide. The income is in the Netherlands is much larger than in Liberia, but well, Liberia has a lot of potential to grow as an economy, and of course, the situation you are in at the moment is not the best. But wonderful to see you all join the session and wanting to learn about money management. Value. What is it actually? I looked it up on the Wikipedia site, and it has to do with how much something is worth. But what can worth be? What is value? It can either be in terms of cash or how important something is. So it could be $2. It could be a bread or 10 breads. But the bread can be more important because you live off it. You eat it when you're hungry. You cannot eat $1. Then looking at wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is the great amount of something. Mostly people think of it as money, but it can also be property, a house, or some animals as possessions. It can be if you're wealthy about ideas. What is a business you can start, or if you have a lot of ideas, or maybe in art. So the wealth is you can value it in money, or you can value it in stuff, or even in ideas. Yeah, money management. How can you manage money? It depends, of course, if you have money. And how how are you able to get money? We talk about getting money. We speak about income, and it means income can be because of work, or maybe you can have income because of gifts from people. Maybe in the start of your studies, you get gifts from family to go studying, or from government. And if you look at income, you might have some ideas. Will you be a taxi driver, or will you be a doctor, or will you help people for money? And if you have this income, what are you going to do with it? What does it mean for your financial situation? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And if you have income, then you can spend money. And spending money, the things you spend it on is expenses. We're going to detail in a minute on that. So on the one hand, you have income, and on the other hand, you have the expenses going out. So here we have some figures on how do you get your money, and then on the other side, what do you spend it on? On the left side, you see that income can exist of gifts from family. It can be because of labor, you have income, government, or other. And on the right-hand side, you can spend your money. The expenses can go to food, for example, for clothing, housing, transportation, or even fun stuff. Buying an ice cream, maybe, or a Coca-Cola, or a phone, if you have a little bit more money. And There's also a way to look at that income in two different ways. If the income, the expenses go to a fixed amount every month, for example, the costs of the expenses, or are they variable? The fixed costs and the variable costs. Fixed costs are costs that come and go every month. So maybe you rent an apartment or the food you buy every day, or even the gasoline for a motor. So these are fixed costs. So you know, if you have 10 income, maybe 6 go to fixed costs. And on the other hand, you can have variable costs. So it's more like, hey, today the lamp broke, I need a new lamp. This does not happen every day, but yeah, you also need to have a little bit of money for that. So some costs are fixed and some are variable. You don't, it can be some part of clothing. You say, hey, I need new shoes. You don't buy them every week, but you buy them maybe once every 2 months, or maybe twice a year, depending on the type of shoes. But those can be variable costs. I hope this is a bit more clear to you. You can separate your costs and variable costs on one hand and the fixed costs on the other hand. If you have income, do you make a planning, or do you just spend it all at one time, or do you spend it over a period of time? And what do you actually spend your money on? What are your fixed costs at the moment? Do you look at it that way? Do you go over the money and say, hey, I have 10 for this week, and what are my fixed costs? Or do you look at it, I buy for 2, I buy food every day. What is your spending pattern? Do you buy food every day, or maybe once a week? Or the housing, do you pay it every month or every 2 months? For your transportation, do you need money for the bus every day? And we will go over it in the part bookkeeping for a minute, to show how you can summarize your spending pattern. If you spend your money, what does it mean? If you have 10, do you spend it like 10 times 1, or do you spend 1 times 5? How do you look at it in time? Do you have 10 for a week? Do you spend it all in one time, or do you make even parts and try to see if you can buy a new thing, maybe? So do you examine the risks involved in spending money? And then a fun part, because we all look at TV, we all see the advertisement. Oh, an interesting Coca-Cola or interesting ice cream, maybe. How do you deal with that? Do you see the commercial and run to the ice cream shop, or do you say, hey, I don't have money for this today, or maybe I only buy it once a month? Are you influenced by that? Are you aware of the what commercials do to you? In my personal life, I know I am influenced by commercials, but I don't run to the shop. I try to ignore them and buy the necessary stuff I need to live, and not only the fun stuff. Yes, what does it mean? If the money comes in, maybe like a snail, as you see in the picture, and is it flying out like a bird very fast, or do you look at it and do you count it every day and do you save maybe a little bit? How do you look at your income or your future income? If you want, maybe you will be a bus driver. How much money will you get every month? How do you look at it, this income? Where are you going to live? Try to be aware of the pattern you have for your money for your expenses, and try to count your money regularly. We'll go over that in bookkeeping in some time in the presentation. Well, that's all the theory. Well, my personal life. I did studies, agriculture economics, as I told you, and at the moment I work as an independent contractor on IT and supply chain projects. It means if a company has some questions on the computers, how they work in a company, or how the people work together, then I can help them to tell the purchase or the sales or the production to work together. This is how I make my personal income. My home situation is I'm married to Iris, my wife. We have two kids. One is 2 years old and one is a baby. Iris is also working, so we have two incomes. And the kids, they go to daycare 3 days a week. And then I would like to show you what my income and expenses look like. So maybe it's a good example for you to learn from it. Yeah, this is it actually. I pointed it out as the income is 100% what Iris and I make. And as you see in the chart, the kids, they are quite expensive, as relatively they are the most costful part of our life at the moment. Because of the daycare, we need to pay the people to look after the kids, to make our own money. And we like to do that because we think working is very important to participate in society. And the kids, they only go a few years to daycare and then they go to school. And we can still continue to work. Then what else do you see in this chart is a house. So almost 20% of our income goes to the house we have. We pay rent. We try to pay back the house to the bank because they gave us money to buy the house, and we're trying to pay it back. Then we own a car. We pay about 10% of our income to the car. Quite expensive actually, but we need it to go to family and sometimes to work. Because of the COVID situation, I work more from home, but still we need to have a car. Then about 23% of our money goes to living expenses. And that means clothing, stuff to work, like a phone, the computers, our furniture, holidays. So all those living expenses, it's about 23% of our income. And then food. I go to the supermarket about 2 times a week. And I try to look at the discount food, but healthy food also, to eat very natural. And we spend on about 9% on that of our income. And then the last part is savings. I'm not sure if you are able to save at the moment, but what we say is if something happens, like maybe the car breaks down, we need to have some money to to buy a new car, or if the washing machine goes breaks, we need a new car, or we need a new bike maybe. That is what we save for. So we say every month we put a little bit aside of our income to the bank, and if something happens, then we can buy a bike or a washing machine, as an example. This. So I hope you get a better view and understanding of my income and expenses this way, and maybe it can help you in the future to also divide it in groups and look at it as yeah, to be realistic on the income you have, and not only spend it on the phone, but also maybe to save some money for a better shoe next year, or study books, or yeah, other stuff you can learn from. um, yes, money affairs. What I personally do is, Iris and I, we make a budget every year. So we make certain that our living expenses, the fixed costs, like the housing, the taxes for the car, the insurance for the health, we have the amount standing for a year. So we make a budget. So from the 100 we get from income, the 100%, we try to divide it in parts, so we can see, hey, this year we can save this amount of money. And the goal we have at the moment is for us personally is a new house. So the house we live in at the moment is very good, very nice, maybe a little bit small. So we try to move to a better house. But from the income, we cannot pay the house, so we need to save some money. And it is really nice to be able to look ahead and to have a dream like, I want to have a new house, or I want to have a new income, have a new job, a better income. And this goal we put in the books. So we try to save up for the house and to get a loan from the bank, with a very low interest rate if possible. Yeah, what are your fixed costs? Do you have an idea that you spend your money on? If you have 100% income, do you know if it's 20% your fixed cost, or is it 40%? Try to for yourself to make a calculation, and if you do this and you count your the fixed cost and your variable costs, hey, maybe you are able to look at it and say, well, I'm also able to save a little bit for um, yeah, for something you want to buy in future. Maybe you want this new phone, but you don't have enough money at the moment. But if you save a few dollars every week, then in maybe half a year you can buy it. It's the same thing for me. My phone is now 4 years old, and I'm saving up for a new one. And maybe in I hope in 4 months um, that I can buy a new one. But I've been saving for a long time. That's interesting because yeah, it's nice to have a goal for your money. The financial future. Um, yeah, looking ahead, what will come in future? What will be your income? You were all studying. You were all interested in learning. Um, I hope for you you will have a nice job, an income on that. And so, what sources of income will you have in future? Will it be your work? Will it maybe come a little bit of money from stocks? I'll go into that in a minute. Um, is there a pension, what you are saving for, hey, after retirement? Will you be able to enjoy when you stop working? Pension is when you stop work. at an elder age, maybe 60 or 70 years old. And then if you have saved in the pension, and every month you get a little bit of money for your retirement. So you're able to live, to eat, to live from it. Don't have the idea that it will be very big just to live from it, but it's also something, it can be your income for future. And if you have a house, it could be an idea to look at housing. If Liberia is a growing country, economically growing country, then maybe the houses are not too expensive. If you have a little loan, you can buy a house. Maybe in 20 years, you can sell it for a better price and buy another house, or it could be a part of your income. So that's interesting to have a look at. Because the future income could be different parts. You could say, I'm putting it all in my budget, so I can have an overview of the fixed costs, the variable costs, as we talked about earlier. And if there's a part with savings, you can put your money in the bank, and maybe you get a little bit of interest from it. And interest means if you put 100 in the bank, maybe the bank gives you 1 or 2 every year. So it's very, it's not too high. You get a little bit. Another thing can be to invest in the stock market. Nowadays you have platforms on the internet where you can buy stocks. I looked it up for Liberia as well. There's a few, but there's also risks involved. I'll go into that a bit later. But another way to invest is in yourself. My compliments to you all that you are studying, and I hope we can learn something from my presentation tonight. And look at it as an investment. Try to have better knowledge, to use your money, to have a better financial future. And investing can also be in your local area. Maybe you can help someone with starting a shop, or help in the shop. Maybe you can share the income of the shop with your family. So that's look around in your smaller area to be able to promote your future, and try to invest in there to have a different source of income. We now go over to the stock market. For me, a favorable subject. I like stocks. I've been in the stock market now for about 20 years, 15 years, I must say. And there's a lot of risk involved, but it can also be very profitable. If you talk about stock market, it is the company. If you buy a stock, it means you buy a part of the company. On the right side, you see the laptop with all the numbers. Every day, people buy and sell stocks. So that's the market. It could be the market of banana prices or coffee. If there is a lot of good coffee, or a lot of coffee, the price might be a little bit lower. And if in other parts of the world the coffee is not that good, then maybe the price in Liberia goes up because it's very good in your country, or maybe the cacao prices. So on the stock market, it's a little bit different than coffee or bananas, but you buy a part of a company. And some companies, they give every year a part of the profit to you. For example, Coca-Cola, if you buy a stock, and of their profit, they pay 2% to the shareholder. So if you buy a stock for 100, you maybe get $2 or maybe 3, 4 per share. And if you think that the stock market is interesting, try to find out which markets are growing. We are now talking on the internet, technical stuff, Zoom, the application. Because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, many people use the Zoom software. So the shares of Zoom are going up, they grow. And this is also happening in Europe and United States on companies that sell, that bring food to people from restaurants or from shops. So these stocks are going up. This could be interesting to buy. Maybe you have heard of Bitcoin. Personally, I'm not a large fan of it, but the Bitcoin has gone up very high last year, and it could be a way to make money. Yeah, stock market, successful or not successful. I just pointed out Bitcoin, a very successful company. Sorry, not company, but it's a currency. So like in Liberia, you have your local currency. In Europe, we have the euro, and the Bitcoin is international. On the one hand, it's very interesting because of the growth potential, and it's very expensive at the moment. One Bitcoin is about $60,000. So I cannot buy it at the moment, too bad, but the risk is that banks are not really backing it too much at worldwide. Some countries do not allow it, but a lot of people have invested it, and it is successful in the stock market. Then Tesla, the car industry is going from regular fuels to alternative fuels like electricity. Tesla is fully electrical, and the stocks have gone up. The cars have been selling very good. The stock market can also be unsuccessful. In US, 2 companies not so successful are Enron and Lehman Brothers. And yeah, that's really risky. If you invest in stocks, you can go up or go down, and be aware of it. It can be very risky. Enron, many people had their pension, so their source of income in this company, they lost their pension. Lehman Brothers, people had the savings of their money to the bank. The bank went broke, so it does not exist anymore. But these are only a few bad examples. There's also a lot of steady companies. Make sure you look at the companies if you want to take a good look at the companies if you want to invest. Listen to the experts, but it will always be your own decision. That's one thing I cannot point out good enough. Then, looking at the stock market, what are the pros, the positive things about the stock market? There is risk involved. So what does risk mean? It means it's a chance of losing your money or making your money. And if it's a high risk, there could be a high reward. So maybe if you buy a stock for €1 or $1, it could be $10 in 10 years. So yeah, that sounds interesting, but if you buy the stock, you do not have influence anymore. So be aware before buying. What's also very positive about the stock market is all digital, like Zoom. You can log in on the page, have your name and your password, and you can buy stocks. It's very easy actually nowadays. On the phone you can do it, or on a computer. Then the cons, contra. So the negative parts of the stock market are still a risk. You could lose all. And I have a personal experience actually that one investment is about 95% in loss. Um, so I had it all, I looked at the company, I looked at the market, I thought, hey, this is interesting, but still it's now a very negative balance on my stock account. Be also aware of the costs involved in stocks. If you buy a stock, there's a fee involved. Pardon. There's a fee involved, and on the other hand, you can also have a reoccurring cost, like a fixed cost for the account. So if you buy for $100 of stock, maybe the account costs $2 a month, and then make a good calculation up front what the costs are for your stocks. And then there's another thing, it's very complex. Stocks go up and down. There's even short selling. People want the stocks to go down. And there's a world market. So it's very transparent. But like in the corona situation, or situation with Ebola in your country, these factors have a large influence on the stock market. So if the people don't trust the companies, they sell the stocks, the stocks go down, although the company might be very good, but if the world trend is going down, then you can lose your money. Another thing is that the stock market is very complex in computers that do the trading. So the very big computers, they 1 cent, 2 cent, 1 cent, 2 cent, 1 cent, 2 cent all day. And then 2 cent, 2 cent, 2 cent go up and go down. So it's not only people doing it. And the computers have no emotions. And that's interesting in stock market. There's a lot of emotions involved in humans, but computers do not have emotions. And the trading is done with an algorithm. So very technical people, they make an algorithm that says buy, buy, sell, and they have a pattern on that. Be aware that's not only people doing the trading. So that's all about the stock market. There's a little bit more actually. Are there opportunities for you to invest in the stock market? I had a look at it online, and I found a few brokers. So you go to a company that's called a broker, you get an account, you pay a fee every month, or you pay a fee by transaction. And there is a few, if you look them up, brokers for Liberia. You could find some places where you can buy stocks. Let me see, interactive brokers I found, and what I also found is that you can do free courses online. Not that you have to start, but if you want to get knowledge about stock market, there's some free courses online, and the link is in the presentation below. Then a question could be, how much money do you need to start investing in stocks? I think that's depending on your personal situation. With $1, it's very hard to start because of the costs involved. I think you need a few $100 to start. And yeah, make a good calculation before what the cost for 1 year will be, and have people help you on the knowledge on companies and the stock market itself. And remember, it is always your choice. So if people advise you, take the knowledge, but make sure that make your own decision. Yeah, save and invest in yourself, your community, your business. Yeah, besides investing in a company or in a job, you as students are investing in studying and learning from other people. So you are investing in yourself, and maybe you can start a business with that. If you have a good idea or learn something, buy a car, go be a taxi, or help people in bringing their food to their home, or delivering packages to people. Yeah, try to find out if you can run a business yourself. Then also make sure it's you have the ideas long term or short term in investment. Short term means short period of time. So will I invest in this for 2 months, or maybe 3 months, or maybe 1 year for study? Or will you invest in a stock for maybe 20 years? Or a better example for long term is a house. Will you buy a house? What is the long term benefit of it? Or what are the risks? It could be interesting. What I see, you are developing a lot in self-development, studying, very good. And keep it local, invest in your community. Yeah, if you can do a job in the community, maybe people can pay you for it. It can be very interesting. The money you make yourself is the best. That's what I learned from starting to work after my study. My first job was calculating costs in a production factory, and I was very proud of the money I made the first years, because I had studied for it, and I was able to buy a house after a few years, and to buy a car myself. So it really makes you feel proud, and yeah, earning your money yourself is the best way to go around. So we have about 20 minutes left. I think this is the fun part. Let's do a quiz together. Are you ready for it? I would like to suggest we go over the question. I'll show you the answer, and then I would like to see some hands in the room if you had the same answer. So,
yeah, or Joris, what we also could do, if you want, maybe when you show the question, you can maybe just ask them to give the answer, and then go to the answer, because they can also just give a shout.
Yeah, certainly.
Great.
So here we have the question. The bank agreed to loan me the money that I needed to start my new business. My ability to borrow, to lend the money, is known as what? Who wants to give an answer to this question, please?
Is there anyone that has the answer? Project Change or Liberian Youth Foundation? If you do know the answer, you can just come forward or just speak in your mic. So I'm just gonna take that they might not know the answer for this one.
let's go to the answer. It is the credit part actually that gives you the ability to borrow the money for the money needed for your new business. Who had this question, this answer in mind? Please raise your hand. Oh, very good. Project Change Liberia, some hands I saw. Very good, guys. Very good. Then we go to the next question. The money that you receive from mowing your lawn, babysitting, or making good grades is called. So these different parts, money coming to you. Liberian Youth Project, please, Liberian Youth, please answer. You raise your income. Did I hear income?
Yes.
Yes. Correct answer. Very good. Yes, it's called income. So it can be from different sources, the mowing the lawn, babysitting, or making good grades. People give you money, it's your income. Then another question, which of the following statements is not true? And we actually have three answers here, the C, do not mind the C, A, B, or D. People who live paycheck to paycheck do not have a lot of stress. Prices of goods and services rise and fall depending on how well the economy is doing. And the answer D, each type of currency has a different value and the values change all time. Which of the following statements is not true? Any answer? Anyone?
A.
D. It's A. And who else had the answer A in mind? Ah, thank you. Well done. So people who live paycheck to paycheck do not have a lot of stress. Well, they do have a lot of stress because yeah, how to get the money, how to spend it, the last calculations, where to spend it on, not able to save maybe. Then the question number 4, financial ... are the plans you have for using your money, like saving for college or a car. Are these A, financial needs, B, financial goals, C, financial wants, D, financial services? Anyone? Project Change Liberia, what is your answer?
C.
C. It looks like the answer, but actually the answer is B. So financial goals are the plans. And the wants is the goal has a plan to it, and the wants is a thing you like about it. It's a bit different actually. Then question number 5. Help make decisions about your income. Safe spending plan. What is it called? Is it called A, a budget, B, income, C,
Budget.
or D, bank loan? Anyone? It is the answer A, it's a budget. So how do you make decisions about your money, spending, your saving in the future? You do that by a budget. Every year or maybe every month you make a budget. And then question number 6. All of the following choices are examples of investments except What is not an investment of these answers? Is it A, taxes, B, stocks and bonds, D, business? Sorry? A is the question, the answer. Very good. Thank you. That was loud and clear. Yeah, the taxes, because they go out, they go to government, and they build the country on it, so to say. Stocks and bonds are investments you can make yourself, real estate, buying a house, for example, or having your own business. That can also be a good investment. You found out that you are going to have to purchase your first car or other form of transportation. Maybe a bike could also be, or a motorbike. You need to start using which of the following personal terms? Do you have to use your savings, your budget, your, or would you need all three?
Saving.
I hear. So you use, maybe you have saved some money, maybe you have some money in your budget as part of your plan, and you could have maybe a bit of credit by the bank or by crowdfunding. So it's all three. Well, here we are. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I think it was a lot of fun to do, and I hope you will learn a lot from it. Thank you very much again. And do you have any questions maybe for me?
Yeah, first, guys, let's give a round of applause for Joris today. Great session, Joris. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's do the question round. So do any of you guys have any questions? Anything that you would like to ask? You can either pop them into the chat or just simply say them on the call. Don't be shy, guys. Project Change, do you have any questions on money management?
Yes. What are some ways I can invest into stock? Yes, stock. Yes.
Yeah, so I think he said, Joris, that he wants to know how he could start investing in stocks.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you need some money to have saved some money. Yeah, go to the internet and try to look for a broker in Liberia. The name could be Interactive Brokers, but there are likely others. So these are digital platforms on the internet. Make sure you have a good calculation of the costs involved, and be aware that the transaction can cost maybe $5 a transaction. So it's done on the internet. You have to look for that for platform there. Thank you for the question. I see a chat now.
Yeah.
Hi, yours. Oh yeah. How can we deal with a situation when your expenditure is more than your income? Thank you for the question. Very interesting. I think it's the thought is very good, because you realize it can be more than your income. So it's like making a plan. You maybe have a budget, and that you can see that, hey, this is my income. Oh, my expenses are higher. And to deal with it is the following: to cut the costs. So it means or cut the fixed costs, or cut the variable costs. An example could be if you buy a Coca-Cola every day, you maybe buy a Coke once a week. So you save some money.
Hello, I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so what is the first step in controlling your finances or the finance? The
Um,
first step,
could you hear that, Joris, or does she need to repeat it? Because I didn't catch it.
Please repeat the question. Thank you.
so I would like to know the first step in controlling your finance.
Oh, so the first step in controlling your finance.
Write it down on paper. Let me check.
Yeah, so maybe the budgeting overview. I will make sure, guys, also to send that over to you, by the way.
Yeah, this is. Oh, I think we did not see that actually. So good question. Thank you for that. Maybe if you, on paper of what your income is and what your expenses are. So that could be the start. To have it on paper, to see, to have a look at it, and then in the bottom you can see. Well, I have this fixed expenses, variable, my debt, my savings, and then you have a total. So that could be a start. Thank you for the question.
Another question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, was it from Liberian Youth? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm Alias Kamal from the Liberian Youth Foundation. I want to know the differences between personal money and business money.
Okay, so he wants to know the difference between money that you use for personal items and how you kind of made the distinction between personal and business kind of money. So what you should invest and what you retail.
That's a difficult question because it depends if the tax situation, depending on the tax situation in the country. So, for example, if I buy a computer, then I save the ticket, I put it to the taxes, and I say this is a business transaction, and please reduce my costs on it. And I would suggest you make a budget for business and a budget for personal. So then you know, hey, my fixed costs in my business part are this, and my fixed costs in my personal part are this. Maybe this can help, this answer can help you.
Yeah. And maybe also, Jos, do you think maybe also if they make like a good overview of what they need for their business, then they maybe know how much they should kind of like spend less on their personal things. So if you know, for example, you want to have 600 to invest for your business, that you know, okay, over the month, I need to make sure that I put like 50 aside so that I can have the 600 by the end of the year, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you need a motorbike for transportation for your business, make sure what the total costs are, and make sure that what part you can save from your current income, what is coming in now, to have that motorbike maybe in 12 months or in 2 years, depending on your situation. But it's a lot about calculation, bookkeeping, budgeting. Yeah, I hope it helps you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Project change, do you have any questions left? Just to make sure. If you guys don't know any questions at the moment, you can also just send them to Joris later. So
yeah, certainly. I will answer them. Thank you. Yeah.
Liberian Youth, any final questions? Otherwise, I think so I think those were the questions, or there's still one question. No. Okay. So yeah, I think we are at the end of today's session. This was day 4. So almost coming to the end. I think this was a really good session, Joris. So thank you so much for making it and providing it to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and like I said, guys, if there are any other questions on money management, just send them through your WhatsApp chat with your mentors, and then we can. Is there one question still from Liberian youth? Just because I see the hand there.
I'm A. Mohammed Bushra. I'm not asking question, but I just want to make a comment. I want to tell the presenter that they well. We appreciate the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Did you hear that, Joris? I don't know if you heard that correctly, but he said that you did a great job and he just wanted to thank you for giving the presentation today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the compliment.
Amazing. Great. So yeah, I guess we kind of can close the call for today. Thank you guys all for joining. And I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. And then we will head towards the end of the program. So if there's anything, make sure to send it to your mentors and they will help you get it to Joris. Okay.
Okay, thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Great studying, and I hope you have a good job and an income. Make sure bookkeeping, budget, financial goals.
Bye.
Ciao.